Call. On the phone, we have Member Barry, Member Bennett, and Member Yunkin, along with myself, Member Meredith, which gives us a quorum. So first item on the agenda, any public comment on issues with board jurisdiction? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, Montana Housing Revolving Bond Program application. Louise, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Welcome, everyone. This is new and exciting news for us. It's a new program and a new request. So request number one. Thank you for agreeing to have a special meeting to kick this off for us. And we also have a guest from the Missoula Redevelopment Agency. I believe Annie Gorski is listening in. And I'm not sure if Ellen, I can't see the list right now, so I'm not sure if Ellen Buchanan made it. But they, I can defer to them if you have project questions that I don't have an answer to. So just so you know, we have extra help if needed. All right, so to get started, going to be, as Member Yonkin said, this is a lot of information for 2.8 million. So I'm going to be very, very high level on this. I know you had the opportunity to read through the write-up and you have your questions ready. So feel free to ask those questions as we go, or you can wait till the end, not a big deal. So we'll just start out with, you'll recall that the 68th legislature in 2023 had actually passed House Bill 819. And when they did that, they created the Montana Housing Infrastructure Revolving Loan Fund account. That's quite the mouthful, isn't it? So I'll refer to it as MHIR from this point forward. So this account is authorized to purchase bonds to fund eligible housing infrastructure projects. So this is the first request to use part of the $106 million allocated to the MHIR account to purchase a bond for affordable housing infrastructure. So let's take a look on who that is. This is coming from the city of Missoula. This is for the Scott Street Affordable Housing Project. The bond that they want us, the Board of Investments, to participate in of up to 50%. The total bond is $5,718,000. That would mean that the board's portion or participation is $2,859,000. This will be a 20-year term on this, and proceeds are going to be used towards the constructing the public infrastructure to the affordable housing off Scott Street in the North Reserve Scott Street Urban Renewal District. So I'm not sure if you had a chance yet, but there was a link if you're in the electronic version of this write-up. There's a link on page 2 in the authorization section of that plan. So if you're curious about what this district looks like and how vast it is, that plan really has a lot of nice maps in there and explanation of things that have already been done, and then also projects happening in the future. So let's focus in on this project. So the district itself is really large. This particular piece of it is a 9-acre piece. So to kind of describe where it's at, you're going to go into the Orange Street exit. A lot of us are familiar with that area. It's right west of there, west and north, just on the other side of the tracks is where this particular project is going to be within that huge district.
Can I ask a question, Louise?
Yeah,
so that is that north of the tracks?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the project then it's going to be 2 bonds, but the Board of Investments is only requested to participate in one of those, and these are tax exempt. So in the project section, I explained that with 2024A, that's the one that the Board of Investments is requested to participate in. This is for the public infrastructure proposed for the 3 acres. So you see in that picture there, the north end there, that's going to be the 3 acres of affordable parcel. On the north end, picture to the right. So the costs include the public infrastructure in common with the remaining acreage as well. So the second bond that First Security Bank will be investing in is for basically the market rate side, the south end of that project. And that will include a market rate apartment complex, some commercial amenities like grocery, restaurant, and childcare. That's their plan for that area. So our concern with this with the new program is that we want to make sure that this project actually goes with the intent of the bill, that the creation for that project. So I'm on page 2, and under the Montana Housing Infrastructure Revolving Loan Fund Account section, how did the city meet this? How did they meet the purpose? So there's 3 different things here that is the purpose of it. Number 1 is to increase the home ownership and provide more long-term rental opportunity. Number 2, to increase housing supply and offer diverse housing types to meet the population growth. Number 3 is to create the partnerships between the state, local, private sector developers, and applicants for the residential development and the financing necessary to do this. So how did the city answer that call? The overall structure project fulfills MHIR's purpose by offering diverse housing types, including 89 below market homeownership and up to 225 long-term rental opportunities. Now, are they doing this all by themselves, or are they doing this in partnership? And yes, they are. This is a good example of the city of Missoula and its Missoula Redevelopment Agency, the MRA, partnering with private sector developers and local and state financing resources to address the housing crisis. And that's just in the Missoula area. So we're pretty proud of them for doing that. In addition to meeting the purpose of the account, there are also 3 requirements to satisfy. So requirement number 1, the local government must waive or offset all impact fees for the developer up to the amount of the security. Interesting little wrench in there is that it was argued that the code, the 76-1602, doesn't really have the provision for municipalities to be able to waive that. So here's the city's answer. The city is prepared to pay those fees for the affordable housing side of the project. And they will also provide documentation evidencing this as part of a condition of the loan prior to releasing funds. So we can check the box there. Requirement number 2, the local government borrower must demonstrate that the infrastructure project will provide for residential development at a minimum gross density of 10 units for each acre. How does this project stack up? The total project, 35 units per acre. So they shot it right out of the park. If we just focus on the 3-acre affordability part, 30 units per acre. So they did well done on that. They met that requirement, no problem. Requirement number 3 is the local government borrower must demonstrate that it has made findings that the infrastructure funded in part by a security provides for provisions to preserve long-term affordability of the housing that runs with the property for the term of security. So what's the city of Missoula's answer to that? The 3-acre affordable parcel will be conveyed to a community land trust, a CLT. What's a community land trust? Well, those are created to preserve long-term affordable homes by acquiring land and building homes in their communities. The homes are sold to qualified borrowers, but the land is leased using a long-term ground lease at an affordable monthly rent. By removing the cost of land associated with the home purchase, now the borrower can purchase that home that they can afford in a high-cost area. So it's very, very unique, very, very clever how they put that together. So how do we know? Who's going to make sure that it's restricted? They've answered that too. So they have a nonprofit, North Missoula Community Development Corporation, the NMCDC, will oversee the CLT and related housing restrictions. So do they have any experience with this? Yes, they do. They've been incorporated since 1996 and was one of Montana's first community land trusts in 2000. Right now they're stewarding 55 permanently affordable homes serving over 110 families in the Missoula area. So Can we check the box on requirement 3? I think we can. All right, so we can go over the parity debt there. I just provided that to make sure that the board knew and understood that there's other bonds that are existing on parity that have the pledge of the revenues for this district. So I just wanted to reflect that there is plenty there for it to cover them all. The repayment, BOI's portion of the debt service will only be $170,000 out of this whole deal. But again, got to see the bigger picture to make sure that the revenues are there to cover all of it. So the repayment will be a senior subordinate pledge. What does that mean? Second lien on the tax increment financing revenue or TIF revenue in that district. So it's on parity with the bonds listed in that parity debt section up above there. So one of the things as parity debt, the covenants for these bonds, among other things, is that revenue is deposited first and applied to debt service first. So before any other expenses happen, all the revenues that they do receive for that tax increment into that district goes towards debt service first. So that's a good thing. The TIF revenues have since the existing inception of this district back in 2014 to 2023 have climbed to in upwards of $2 million. So it's going steady, and since 2017, I believe, has really seen an increase in that value. And it's really evident by when you do drive by that area, but like the Orange Street area and the North Reserve area, you can visually see the growth that's happening in Missoula. So the financial report, you'll notice that I attached the FSB's analysis. The First Security Bank, who is an affiliate division of Glacier Bank, their analysis, because they are the co-purchaser, is required by the program. Did a review of that to agree that it is reasonable. It is a government-wide financial look. And so for this write-up, I just focused in on the district itself, so we could see how the district by itself can handle it as well. So in the spirit of Member Prothro, let's talk about risks. So we have risks. Tax increment financing has its own risks. And in this section, it really lays out the risks and how the city has mitigated those risks when it comes to tax increment financing, the taxable values, all of that information. So I'm willing to discuss those if you like. It's quite a bit of information, so I'll just be very on top of that, just bounce along on top of that. But it really comes down to the sheer size of the district. We're dealing with a city who it's a thriving community and has one of the largest anchor universities in the state in it. The district by itself is huge, and you probably had the opportunity to take a look at that plan to see how big that is. And so if you have any questions about that, happy to discuss it. But one of the other risks I wanted to discuss begins on page 5 down at the bottom there. There is a subtitle there called Senior versus Senior Subordinate Lien. So I wanted to discuss that a little bit. When I found out that these were on parity, I had, of course, in the review, one must do our due diligence, and I went back into all the resolutions for these supplemental bonds. The originating bond resolution acknowledges that the city has the ability to issue a senior bond with a first lien on this district's revenues for a larger project if needed. So once again, the parity will have parity lien on basically second lien for this bond. So what do we do with that? How do we manage that? Well, the city, I discussed it with them, and the city changed direction and chose to approach the development of the district in phases instead of one large project. Therefore, they did not issue or plan to issue in the future any senior bonds, and which is great. I love that. However, it's still there in writing that it is a possibility that it can be there. So I wanted to, we want to make sure that we protect the board's interests. And as a precaution, board staff is adding as a condition to the bond that prior to any senior bond issuance, that the city will notify the board and will redeem the board's senior subordinate bond unless the board waives this requirement. So not an absolute close the door. It's a discussion, but we also have that ability to force them to redeem that bond before they issue a senior bond ahead of our lien. So to wrap it up, the recommendation section, board staff is recommending approval with that whole list of conditions there. And I'm happy to discuss any of those or any questions you may have.
Thanks, Louise. Is there any questions from any of the board members?
I might have a couple. Going all the way back up to the top and just to understand, so on the picture there of the project on the I guess it's the first page. So our portion is only helping to fund that top section of the development, correct?
That's correct.
And
then
that's
also what they have in common with that other piece.
okay. Now these are all townhomes and condos is what it's saying. So, and all of these are going to be for sale, not for rent, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And on the land lease situation, the owners of these properties are going to pay a rent fee for the land as well as the payment for their property.
As a
For
part
the-
of that, right, as a part of that community land trust, that's. the
Okay.
agreement.
And that's going to be the source for repayment. This is a TIF revenue source, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So when is the city or whoever the owners are who's selling these properties, are they hoping to have enough money to put aside to help pay the bonds? Or how is that going to work, Louise?
Yeah, one thing I would like to make clear is that the district is repaying the debt. So it's not just focused in on this one small project.
Okay,
It's the district as a whole that is on the hook for repayment.
okay. And of these $18.5 million original bonds that have been issued for this district, right? That's the total district. There's an estimate, and according to your research, that there's enough revenue to help pay our portion of the bonds.
Yes, that is correct. And we are
And
also requiring a 1 year's debt reserve in reserve on
Right.
that as well.
Okay. And that senior bond, the only reason that these are senior subordinate is because there is this document that says the city is allowed to issue an overall senior debt for this, but they have not done that. And then you're reserving the right to call the bonds if they do issue that senior debt, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Unless the board approves carrying it out. Okay. And my last question is, we're setting the interest rate at 1.71%. And can you remind me how you came up with that?
Absolutely. Part of the bond program is that we can put up to 25% of the co-purchaser's interest rate. That's what we can charge. So it could be lower than that, but we are applying that maximum 25%.
Okay. All right. Okay. So these are how many units? These are 89 units in that development that
there's-
we're
there's-
helping to fund.
89 units in there, and then there's 46 of them that are income restricted. So it goes one more level.
Okay. Okay. Is that a section of this, or is that interspersed in all of those income restricted ones?
I believe they're interspersed, and I
Okay.
would like to defer to Annie Gorski Annie, if you can.
Good morning, Annie Gorski with the Missoula Redevelopment Agency. Yes, those income restricted units will be interspersed between the townhomes and the condominiums. The majority of them will be in the condominiums.
Okay, I suppose it just depends on first come, first served type of thing and what's available for these income restricted. Is that correct?
That's correct. Their North Missoula CDC, Community Development Corporation, will be doing a lottery to identify individuals that qualify for these units, and they will present those to the development team, and individuals will be placed in those available condos or townhomes. Correct.
Okay.
Those will also include a mix of bedroom sizes. So it will also depend on what that household needs in terms of bedroom size and size of unit.
Okay. I'll be done, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll just make note that I will abstain from the vote on this this loan, given the co-purchaser is a division of Glacier Bank. So no, that's on the record. I'll open it up for a motion.
Well, one question I have, if I might, Jeff. So if we approve this as a loan committee, does it go to the full board, or will it be able to go forward from here?
Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's under 5 million, so we would, or it's a separate program, correct? So maybe Dan could add some color there. Or Louise, potentially.
I moved my mouse and I'm sorry. No, this is under the $5 million threshold, so just loan committee has to approve it.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, I'll move approval of this loan.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Member Kober. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. The loan is approved. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you, Louise.
Thanks. That was a very good description.
Yeah, with a lot of
Well,
numbers.
I know, it was a lot, it was, but this is our first one, so this is just kind of blazing the trail for the ones behind.
Great. Dan, any other topics to discuss?
Maybe just a heads up, we're starting to get a lot of interest in the link deposit for this construction year. So financing in 24, construction in 25. With your actions today, we've got just over 59 million of the 106 million committed. So about 47 million left. We'll probably put out a notice sometime in February as to when we will open the link deposit program back up, just so I can alleviate myself and the staff of the calls from the bankers across the state of when are you going to do this again? And we can just, put it off till hopefully late May, early June, open the window, and I would anticipate it'll fill up like all of our other programs in a day or two, if that. So good news all around.
Thanks. So I think that wraps it up. So we'll call the meeting adjourned and see you guys all at the next regular board meeting.